a.m. this morning and was left there the rest of the night. Apparently, sometime during the night when the mother was sleeping, the car seat tipped over. So far, no charges have been filed. Meanwhile, a Lemon Valley family is homeless tonight after a fire. And to make matters worse, they lost their 5 puppies as a result of the flames. The 3 adults and 5 kids who were living in this mobile home are all okay tonight, but the Red Cross is having to look for a place for them to live. The fire completely destroyed their trailer. Apparently, the fire started outside around a utility pole.
A local man wants to offer his land for the long-debated homeless shelter here in this area. You might say he wants to jumpstart Project Restart. Lee McLaren has our report tonight.
Project Restart may have yet another stop on the beaten track to completion, but this one may encourage some smooth sailing. Ed Hewitt is offering his national tow and road service business, his land, and his buildings at 250 Sage Street.
We're looking at it as kind of a jump start for the restart.
Hewitt says the city can buy the whole deal for a little more than $500,000. He says the land offers easy access, storage, fewer excavations, and existing utilities for the homeless center.
The engineering and the importation of utilities over there will probably pay for this whole thing over here. And the plus factor of that is that they got 2 buildings they can work with.
The proposed Project Restart site is about 200 yards behind me, but Hewitt says this site may be even better that he's offering to the city because it's right next to a row of weekly housing hotels. And Project Restart says they've already talked to the RENO Housing Authority about purchasing them. So Hewitt says his offer will save a lot of headaches and offer more to the community with the location off of the Truckee River.
So this is a plus deal for him.
The offer does have some hitches, however. Hewitt says 11 employees of his may be out of work, but he says they may have other opportunities to find work in town or even buy the business from the city. In Reno, Lee McLaren, News Source 2.
Coming up, a plane crash kills an Ohio family. We will have the tragic details.
Plus, is a killer shark lurking in the waters off San Diego? Those stories when Night Watch continues.
The last thing a trip to the emergency room should be is traumatic. Sparks Family Hospital. Emergency care close to home.
Students, leasing a car is a poor investment, right? Right! Wrong, you nincompoops. Now watch carefully.
At Bill Pierce Courtesy Honda, lease a 94 Accord LX 4-door for just $239 a month.
And here is the best part.
Then you have the option to buy it, lease a new car, or just walk away. Only at Bill Pierce Courtesy Honda.
What do we do with the money we save?
Have a party?
Jawohl! In Europe!
You get more for lease at Bill Pierce Courtesy Honda.
All over the Sierra, people are slipping into something a little more comfortable. They're getting into their new spas from Dan Luce Pools and Spas. Dan Luce carries a complete line of hot spring and Tiger River spas. There's one price for any budget and many with soothing moto massage. Visit Dan Luce Pools and Spas today and slip into something a little more comfortable. Relax, get loose. Dan Luce Pools and Spas.
What would you do if you won over $100,000?
Oh my gosh. I'd probably faint first.
Mercedes-Benz convertible.
Yeah, right, definitely.
Has to be in British racing green or silver or something like that. About the color of your head.
With 2 steering wheels.
Enter the Riverboat's guaranteed $200,000 giveaway today. Win cash every week, topped by a $100,000 grand prize.
That's an awful lot of money.
Play at the Riverboat tonight with plenty of free parking.
The crew of the space shuttle is giving the Midwest a good look tonight. This is topping news from around the U.S.
The shuttle astronauts are using very advanced radar to survey flood damage all along the Mississippi River Valley. The astronauts have been above the Earth for 5 days now. They'll be coming home on the 19th.
And lifeguards in San Diego think a great white shark is responsible for the death of a swimmer. The body of a woman washed up on shore with large bite marks in the torso. The beaches are taking necessary precautions, but don't believe the problem will get out of hand.
A 4-year-old girl is among 3 people killed in this plane crash. Sadly, the child was going to be adopted by the couple on board the plane. That crash happened in Canfield, Ohio. That's just south of Cleveland.
The remains of the 26 people killed by friendly fire have been flown to a U.S. airbase in Germany. All 26 were killed when 2 U.S. F-15s mistakenly shot down 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters in the no-fly zone over Iraq. Following a brief military ceremony, the bodies were taken to a morgue where they have been positively identified.
Well, back here in this area, weather-wise, expect much of the same tomorrow, just like we had today.
That's right. We will have the complete forecast when we return.
You won't find a better truck for your money. One of Northern Nevada's favorite trucks, the Chevy full-size pickup. Right now, new 94 work trucks start at only $12,954. Buy it. When the going gets tough. Choose from hundreds of new trucks and save thousands with option package discounts. Drive it. When the going gets tough. At your Northern Nevada Chevy Geo dealer. Chevy.
Come inside the Good Guys right now for hot April buys with savings in all departments. Yamaha two-way bookshelf speakers, $39 each. Save over $10. RCA 4-head VCR or a 20-inch TV, your choice, $199. Save $40 to $50. Leading Edge Complete 486 home computer system, only $999 after $50 rebate. And every car stereo is on sale. Every deck, speaker, amp, every alarm on sale. So why go anywhere else? The Good Guys, where better doesn't cost more.
This is one of life's silver linings. And no matter what lies ahead, this moment can last forever as a print from Gordon's Photo Service. Gordon's uses only Kodak paper and chemicals for the good look. Superior quality control ensures that every print looks its best. Gordon's is also a great choice for cameras and accessories. From the amateur to the pro, you'll find the equipment you need and a helpful, friendly face to sweeten the deal. Preserve life's silver linings. Come to Gordon's Photo Service in Park Lane Mall and now in Carson City.
Congratulations on your raise.
Yes, thanks.
You know, we really need a new car. Short-term leasing makes good sense.
At Bill Pierce Courtesy Honda, you can lease a luxurious 94 Accord DX 4-door for just $199 a month for 2 years. Then you have the option to buy it, lease a new one, or just walk away.
I think we should lease a car.
Sometimes I wonder who wears the pants in this family.
For great leasing values, come to Bill Pierce Courtesy Honda, where you get more for lease.
The bad weather in the southeast is being blamed for at least 1 death this weekend. 1 woman died when a tornado ripped through her trailer. Police say the tornado touched down at about 1:30 this morning and destroyed 10 trailers in all. We here in Northern Nevada are a little bit luckier. The weather has been quite pleasant, and Bill McGinty is at the weather maps with all the details. Bill?
That's right, Jill. It's quite pleasant all throughout the Sierra Nevada from Stockton to Elko. It's just absolutely beautiful. Cloudy skies, but warmer conditions than we've seen this over the last couple of days or so. So right now on the outside we have 65 degrees. Skies are for the most part starting to clear up a little bit, but we still have a lot of variable high cloudiness. Winds are out of the south at only around 5 miles an hour. Relative humidity is at 29%. The barometer has died down to where it's steady. And the air quality today, 53. We consider that to be in the good range. Now, today's high got to 79. It's only 1 degree shy of 80, low 45 this morning. In the last 24 hours, we certainly haven't picked up any precipitation. Doesn't look like we're going to, at least over the next couple of days. What we're seeing, all this cloudiness, is a result of a low pressure system moving well to the north. We're still seeing lots of high pressure in our area. Most of this system is just kind of sweeping by the northern half of the state. So we're going to continue to see some variable high clouds build in as a result of this system. Expect no precipitation. Lots of clouds, mixture of a little bit of sun, more clouds than sun, and definitely warming conditions over the next couple of days. So no rain, but it's going to stay a little bit on the warm side as well. Overnight lows are going to start to warm up a little bit as well. In Winnemucca tonight, 42, 44 in Lovelock, 48 in Fallon, 45 in Hawthorne, 43 in Tonopah as well. 38 tonight in Elko, 38 in Carlin, and 44 in Battle Mountain, 39 in Ely. 77 tomorrow, warming up in Ely, Elko, and Carlin, right around 77 too. As a matter of fact, most of the state tomorrow should see temperatures up near 77 to 78 degrees, maybe into the low 80s. Now, I'm told Duckwater, Nevada, and that's down in White Pine County, Duckwater, Nevada, hit a high temperature today of about 83 degrees. That's in Duckwater, Nevada. 92 in Las Vegas, 81 in Hawthorne, 84 in Fallon, 79 in Susanville, and in Lovelock, 82 degrees. 49 in Reno Sparks, 47 instead, 40 in Incline Village tonight, 39 in South Lake Tahoe, 47 in Yerington, and likewise in Minden and Gardnerville down there in Douglas County, right around 47 to 48 degrees. In Markleeville tonight, anywhere around 38, 39 degrees as well. That's down in Alpine County up near Caples Lake, or down near Caples Lake, I should say. Tomorrow, warming up, should be a nice day again. More clouds than sun, but it's still going to be quite warm. 78 here in Reno Sparks. Probably get above that, probably into the low 80s. 77 instead, 79 in Fernley, 72 at Incline Village, 69 in South Lake Tahoe, 71 in Truckee, and 77 down in Douglas County. So your forecast, absolutely picture perfect if we had more sun. So partly cloudy skies tomorrow around Lake Tahoe, southwesterly winds, 15 to 30 miles an hour, high 69, low 39. If you're traveling through the mountains tomorrow over to Stockton or Sacramento, should be a nice day for traveling. Again, more clouds than sun. Reno Sparks, Carson City, partly cloudy skies, southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour, the high 78 and the low 49. Here's a look at your 4-day forecast, Monday through Thursday. We're going to have a mixture of sun and clouds. And again, this system is kind of hanging around a little bit, so we're going to have more clouds than sun all week long. It is appearing that way. Anyway, afternoon highs up into the mid to low 70s and overnight lows down into the low 40s. So not a bad week, but, you know, if we're going to have the clouds, we could use the rain. And, you know, if we're going to hide the sun, at least bring the rain.
Duckwater, where'd you pull that one out of?
Duckwater, Nevada is Justin is familiar from that area. Justin's our camera guy. Justin's our camera person. Duckwater, Nevada.
Thank you very much, Bill.
You got it.
Kirby Moss is in next with sports. The Warriors were on the court in Utah.
And doesn't this scene look familiar? The Wolfpack has done it again. Sports is next.
Feeling confined? How about some fresh air? Or how about putting the top down on the new 1994 Cutlass Supreme convertible? With a V6 engine, leather seats, driver's side airbag, anti-lock brakes, and a real back seat. Feeling better? It's your money.
Available today at your Northern Nevada Oldsmobile retailer.
What would you do if you won over $100,000?
$100,000? Man, I think I'll buy a house first.
I go and have me a real good time.
I definitely go on a trip. The Bahamas.
Enter the Riverboat's guaranteed $200,000 giveaway today. Win cash every week, topped by a $100,000 grand prize.
That's where I'd go. I go to the Bahamas, yeah.
Play at the Riverboat tonight with plenty of free parking.
You know where to get the outside of your car clean, but what about the inside? Introducing the Detail Performance Center now at Classic Car Wash. While you wait, we'll express detail your car, truck, or van. We'll wax and buff the outside and hand clean the wheels, then apply protectant to the interior surfaces. And we won't forget the carpet and floor mats. We'll shampoo them and have them looking great in no time. The Detail Performance Center now at Classic Car Wash at Franktown Corners.
I don't have time to run around looking for parts.
The Auto Parts Club, no warehouse prices guaranteed.
Auto Parts Club's got it all. It's a warehouse. Only name brands and the best prices.
The Auto Parts Club.
Well, every once in a while, a guy will come up to me and he'll go, "Hey, George, guarantee this." I guarantee it is a commitment. It's my personal commitment that we will give you the best service possible and the best everyday low prices.
A hearty congratulations are in order for the Wolfpack baseball squad over at Piccoli Field.
Twice in a row now, is that?
14 come from behind victories, so they better start saving a
close,
few
Jill.
of these. Yeah,
2-14.
Same thing.
They better save a few. They might need a couple of these at the end of the season against UCLA. But Piccoli really is a field of dreams. Today, the Wolfpack pulls off another fantastic finish, scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to win their 8th straight game. We take you to the best seat in the house, right there over the left field fence. Top of the 8th, Matt Wills pitching to Trevor Blake. And folks, this baseball's up in the wind, and that means it's out of the ballpark. A 2-run home run, 10-6 Grand Canyon. But after all the fans left, there's a few dozen of them. This little kid moves up to the front row for the best show in town. Bottom of the 9th, Mike Schroeder doubles just inside the third base line. A runner scores, 11-8 Grand Canyon after another runner scores on a hit batter. New pitcher, another aggressive hitter. Jay Johnson singles up the middle. 2 more runs score, 11-10 Grand Canyon. And that opens the door for Kyle Corey. His only hit of the game into the right field corner. 1 runner scores. Here comes Jay Johnson. Come on, you're the winning run. Look at that. High drama at Peccoli Field again today as they take it 12-11. A 6-run 9th inning. It's the 3rd time in 7 days Nevada has won a game in the 9th inning. Wolfpack now 9-0 on Saturdays. Again, their 14th come-from-behind victory of the season. In pro baseball now, the Giants could have used some of the Wolfpack's lethal bats today as the Marlins stabbed San Francisco late in Florida. Now, this is Solomon Torres. He slips on a ball player's chew, heading to the dugout, and Charlie Huff slips, throwing Matt Williams this knuckleball. It's out of the ballpark, his 4th of the year. We're tied at 2. Barry Bonds at the plate, and he whiffs. And Brett Barbary connects in the bottom of the 8th, a 2-run shot. He attributes the hit to shaving off his mustache. They win it 5-3. Tony La Russa could smile again as we take it to Oakland. Terry Steinbach continues to send baseballs into orbit. A 3-run home run, capping a 5-run first inning. 2 round trippers on the day for Steinbach, 5 in all. Oakland wins 8-3 behind Bobby Witt's 3-hit pitching performance in Oakland today. In basketball now, whatever the Wolfpack had today, the Warriors had tonight. Golden State wins its 5th straight game, coming from behind against Utah. It's their 2nd come-from-behind game in as many days. The Warriors down 2 at the break. Karl Malone misses the mailbox. Tyrone Corbin follows it up. Utah is jazzed with a 9-point lead, but don't count out the Warriors because Mullen has the ball, and he sees Latrell Sprewell, and he sees the rim. Rocks it. It's a big point, cuts the lead to 4. Chris Mullen waiting down in the corner for a 3-pointer. He leads all scorers with 28 points. Bingo, he hits the 3, they're down 1. And then the big play of the game, Sprewell, 18 of his 28 points in the 4th period, and they win it, the final 109-105. They have a full game lead over Portland in the Western Division for that 6th playoff spot. Seattle 1 victory away from clinching home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Sean Kemp closing out a 26-9 run with that monster supersonic boom. He scores 22 points at the half. Sasquatch, not as pretty, not as loud, but hey, it works. Second half, Gary Payton unleashes 3 3-pointers in a row. It puts the Supersonics up for good. They win at 197. Seattle's league-high 60th win of the season. And there's something fishy going on. Yeah, we have hockey highlights for you. It's the playoffs. Montreal and Boston hooking up in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals right there. David Bellows with the wraparound for the Canadiens. They're on the board first. Second period, the Bruins go on a power play scoring binge. Check out the pressure that Patrick Raw has to fight off. And it's Ted Donato slaps in the puck. Boston wins it 3-2. They lead the series 1-0. In football, the Vikings are moonstruck. After 10 years with Houston, Warren Moon is officially Minnesota's new hope quarterback. The Vikings haven't won a Super Bowl in 17 years, and today they signed their new leader. Moon, a 6-time Pro Bowl selection, inks a 2-year deal worth $5.5 million. He might be 37, but Moon says he still has what it takes to win the Super Bowl ring.
That's the thing that's left for me to do, and that's what I want to accomplish before I'm done. And I know I've got some years left to play. You know, you can look at my age and say, well, you know, he's 37 or whatever, but you just need to watch me play, and that'll let you know what I'm all about. And I think I can really help this organization in accomplishing that goal, and that's the reason why we're here.
Okay, in golf, seeking his 2nd major title in 3 weeks, 53-year-old Ray Floyd is the leader of the pack at the PGA Seniors Championship. We take you to the 15th hole. Floyd, a 30-foot birdie putt. A pretty putter, too. Right on target. 9 under par in the tourney. 16, Dave Stockton. Yesterday, he quadruple bogeyed this hole, hitting water twice. Today, right next to the pin, he sits at 6 under par. We take it to 17, Lee Trevino. In the sand trap, out of it, on the green, in the cup. He's at 7 under par. Hale Irwin actually leads the Heritage Classic by 2 strokes over Greg Norman and Russ Cochran. In horse racing now, more Kentucky Derby preps today. Urgent wins the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct, and down the stretch they come.
Holy Bull in front.
The winner of the Bluegrass Stakes in Keeneland, both considered favorites for the Running for the Roses, which is in 3 weeks. Tonight on the Sports Wire, Reed's boys and girls win the Reed Sparks Rotary Invitational. 14 meet records and 5 stadium records broken in the event. And Wichita State wins the Intercollegiate Bowling Championship in Carson City. Okay, time now for the play of the day. We take you to Tiger Stadium, and it's the Yankees taking on Detroit. Bernie Williams hanging out in center field. Travis Fryman hits the ball, and Bernie Williams is on the run to save the day for the Mighty Moss play of the day. All right, Wolfpack baseball. Do we have it again? No, we don't. I wanted to show it to you one more time. 14 come from behind victories.
And what's the point of showing this again?
Because everybody left.
That's right.
Everybody left the game, and there it is. We've got it. Here we go. Right here, Trevor Blake hits a home run off of Matt Wells. It puts him up 10-6. All the fans leave, and then this little guy moves up in the front row for the best show in town. And then here's Mike Schroeder. The big hit inside the third baseline. It scores a runner. Another runner scores. They trail 11-8 at this point. Remember, this is all in the 9th inning. It's a 6-run inning. Jay Johnson singles up the middle. 2 runners score, cuts the lead to 1. The fans love it. Kyle Corey is only hit of the game. Stands for number 1 on his jersey, I guess. Taylor scores. Johnson didn't know what to do. Oh, here he comes. The winning run. He's forever the answer to a trivia question. Their 14th comeback victory of the season.
That's great, and the point is, don't leave.
Don't leave.
Don't leave a Wolfpack game.
Don't leave.
You never know.
Everybody was saying, don't leave the game. Everybody, oh, yeah, they left, and look what happened.
Good day for the Pack.
And Terry Hardesty was there.
Imagine that.
Great. I'm on the edge of my seat now.
That's it.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Kirby.
Kirby.
Well, coming up, roses are red, violets are blue. We sure have a story for you. She wrote this.
Cringe as you say that. We'll introduce you to a poet who looks at things a little bit differently. Stay with us.
Dear Midas, around 6 p.m., while driving with my kids, my brakes went out. I went to the nearest service station.
Gee, we're closed.
I went to another place.
Sorry.
Then I found Midas. Paul and Don said,
"We wouldn't want you to drive your car home like this."
We'll fix it now.
That's what I call service. They even told us where to get some hot dogs. Thanks a million. Holly Rush.
The last thing a trip to the emergency room should be is traumatic. Sparks Family Hospital. Emergency care close to home.
Feeling confined? How about some fresh air? Or how about putting the top down on the new 1994 Cutlass Supreme convertible? With a V6 engine, leather seats, driver's side airbag, anti-lock brakes, and a real back seat. Feeling better? It's your money.
Available today at your Northern Nevada Oldsmobile retailer.
The Shell MasterCard from Chemical Bank is not just an ordinary credit card. It's a liquid asset. Because when you use it to buy the things you need, you earn free Shell gasoline. The more you use it, the more free Shell gasoline you earn. And with no annual fee, there's no reason not to take the plunge. To apply for the Shell MasterCard, call 1-800-FREE-GAS.
Many of us are amateur poets, poets at heart, you might say. We're going to meet one man who is really a poet at heart. Bill Wood has our report tonight.
Once, as I walked in the marketplace,
now appearing,
realized in a country
Under the spotlight.
Offer of all I can. I'm kind of the odd man out.
At center stage.
In the western sky in the night, I don't really fit in.
Now appearing is the word.
But to fill your sail.
And the word is poetry. How about a little Walt Whitman?
When lilacs lost in the dooryard bloomed.
The word, according to Joseph Charles McKenzie, the poet who writes like a roller coaster.
I've always written that way, and always will.
Brewing beside his teapot, Joseph McKenzie does not write the way you and I write.
You just don't scribble your work down with a pencil, do you?
No, not at all.
His poetry is put down the old-fashioned way, as fancy on paper as it is in thought.
If one is aspiring to write something that is beautiful, it seems to me that the aspiration toward beauty should begin with the paper.
Joseph writes poetry. Joseph remembers poetry.
C'est l'unique question. 'Tis a vestment when you go through. Et de ses pieds you read the old and thy years give shape.
How about a little Tennyson?
The year is dying in the night.
How about a little Baudelaire?
Ah, tout ce qui fuit, ah, tout ce qui gémit.
He remembers 6 hours worth of poetry. How about some of your own stuff?
My love is like a melody.
Why, you could run 2 marathons or watch 3 movies and come back and Joseph would still be standing there. It's his passion.
You want to make poetry as appealing and as appetizing as, say, a Big Mac.
Yeah, well, I would say at least a croissant.
As he picks up a graduate degree in French literature, he also picks up poetry prizes from around the planet. It is a passion.
Sur le sol raboteur traînait son blanc plumage.
Wow. Some of this stuff is big enough to fill a football stadium.
How thin and clear and thinner, clearer, farther going.
And that's where we leave Joseph Charles McKenzie, standing on the 30-yard line, about to score a touchdown with words.
But I am myself a metaphor.
Bill Wood for CBS News, Albuquerque.
A breaking story for you right now. A REMSA ambulance has been involved in an accident at the intersection of Mill and Locust. Apparently 9 people are hospitalized, 2 possibly are critical. Again, it happened at Mill and Locust about 20 minutes ago. We'll, of course, have more on this story tonight at midnight and then tomorrow at 6:30.
An unfortunate way to end the show.
Very.
Well, thank you for joining us. As Bill said, we'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. Good night.
Snowmobilers and part of a Nordic ski patrol dredged their way into the tough and rocky terrain. 5 skiers spent the night in the below-zero weather, hoping to reach the pilot at first light.
50 David, command post. Sadlow. Would you ascertain if they can use bolt cutters?
We have a confirmed fatality. The solo occupant, the plane is quite damaged, and they're attempting extrication now as the equipment's dropped.
Rescuers on snowmobiles had to turn back late this morning. The rocky terrain and deep snow made their efforts futile. Was it real rocky?
Way up high, it is a lot rockier, but down a little bit lower, it's just real soft snow, so you just bury yourself in, so it's pretty tough going.
The plane took off heading south through Saxon Creek Gorge. The tower says it lost sight of it in Tucker Flat, a mountainous region that's extremely remote.
It's very steep. There's a lot of cliffy areas, a lot of trees. It's pretty tough terrain to get around in, let alone try to find anything in.
Rescuers say the 4-seat Cherokee is intact, but the nose is completely crushed. The pilot, more than likely, died on impact. At South Lake,
Unit 47 in for pursuit of a grand larceny suspect southbound from Parkway Mall heading towards Grove Street. White male wearing a white sweatshirt.
The call comes in shortly after 8 o'clock tonight, and Reno Police Officer Terry Naughton wasted no time responding.
Okay, here he goes. He's in a blue vehicle. Nevada 880, David San North. He's going westbound.
Westbound on what? On what street?
The suspect we're in pursuit of reportedly hijacked a car and the driver. The chase lasted about 3 minutes until this happened.
On your head, driver! Put your hands on your head! Step out! Turn and face away from me! Snyder! Snicker! Back up! Back up! Your driver's gonna take off!
Take it off, I got it. Stop! Stop! The man with his hands up on his head is actually the victim, and the suspect is now driving. The chase continues for about another mile or two before coming to an end behind the fire department on West Moana Lane. The suspect ended up jumping from the car in this empty lot, but he was found a short time later.
Comfortable? I want you to be pleased with the service here. The problem is he doesn't play by the same rules we do. It's not easy, but you don't really dwell on it. You just do it. It happens too quickly, as you just saw. You don't really have time to think. You just respond to your training and go for what you know.
The suspect, 21-year-old Christopher Futch, was arrested and is tonight facing charges of carjacking, kidnapping, and grand larceny. In Reno, Bill McGinty reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2. Don't laugh. A demented Friar Tuck could be quite popular this year. All a good costume takes is a little thought, a little money, and from the looks of it, a little material.
In fact, this is mostly my entire outfit.
Well, if a hooker isn't your idea of a good time, you could go traditional.
I have a white tutu, I have a red tutu. What color? I need black.
Ballerina's always a safe bet for a girl and a guy. Just make sure you can dance. Hey, here's one to keep your eye on. Or you might want to make a political statement.
They probably went, whoever had them, but I don't have Slick Willie.
Not gonna that. Yeah, don't worry about me. Got $3 billion in the bank. It's gonna be a hootenanny.
And then there's always that bizarre novelty item to go with your costume. It's a rat.
Yeah, but it looks like you swallowed a rat and it grew inside you and it's now wanting to come out.
If you want to go the horror route, then this indeed may be your option. But believe it or not, there are uglier and scarier things out there. Ooh, not that bad. I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
No, we're not happy because we knew that if this ditch filled up with water, these small culverts couldn't handle it, and we would have it all in our yard, which is exactly what happened today.
Sherry Dunn says she's sick of cleaning up the mess every time Lemon Valley gets a 15-minute cloud burst.
They told us that this was a minimal flood area, and they didn't expect it to be that much of a problem.
I guess they were wrong.
I guess so.
Where'd you get that shovel at?
That's it.
Sunday night's thunderstorms north of Reno washed loads of mud into these drainage ditches, culverts that residents say don't do much good. Now, Lemon Valley residents say they have two main problems with this entire situation. One, the pipes in these drainage ditches are too small to handle the flow of water. And two, these drainage ditches in general are on the wrong side of the road.
But so basically, it's supposed to, they had said that they were going to carry it across the road into the dry lake bed there.
A flood of this magnitude last hit in 1990. The county then promised to do something, and they did. But widening the ditches, residents say, isn't the solution, and the county agrees. County Commissioner Larry Beck.
The best way to do it and the most cost-effective way to do it is of individual property owners to get out there when they have a situation where they see a culvert backing up and getting it unplugged.
Whose land is it, the county's or theirs?
It's a county easement area that goes through there.
So they should be responsible for doing county work?
Well, do you want to... I think it's all of us are responsible to try to make government as efficient and effective as possible.
But their argument is that's why they pay taxes.
Well, they're not paying the kind of taxes that would be necessary to support a massive personnel and massive ditch cleaning equipment to do what they're asking for us to do.
So for now, Sherry and her family are stuck cleaning up the mess, but say the county indeed owes them some answers. In Lemon Valley, I'm Bill McGinty reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
We haven't talked to him yet.
1 year ago today, we sadly reported that Care Flight had crashed in the mountains of the Central Sierra. All 3 crew members and a patient from Carson City were killed in that crash. Since that day, there has been a lot of speculation about what possibly went wrong. The Alouette chopper went down just a few hundred feet west of 395 in Mono County.
It was 1 year ago today that I stood in this field with the wreckage of Care Flight scattered about behind me. On that day, the NTSB told us it would probably take 6 months to a year before they could ever determine the exact cause of what happened that day. But on the one-year anniversary, we can only tell you what probably happened, as there is still one vital part of the tail rotor that is still missing.
They have finished the report, and they have suggested to us, because they can't give us something final until the report comes out officially, they have suggested it is a materials failure. Materials failure is different than a mechanical failure or pilot error. What it means is a part on the aircraft failed to function properly, and it's not due to mechanical reasons or maintenance. It has nothing to do with that.
CareFlight says at this point, the bad part is either something called the long shaft or the hanger bearing. Both are located inside the tail rotor.
They have to remember that I'm not the aviation component, but the aircraft will continue to fly straight as long as there's power. The problem comes when you attempt to reduce power, i.e. when he attempted to land. When you reduce power, you lose streamline, and that's when the aircraft has a tendency to spin.
And experts think that is when the crash occurred. 1 year later, the site remains marked. A small blue and white cross stands as a silent reminder of the risk emergency crews take every day. From Mono County, California, I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
Bill, believe it or not, right now, things are as dry as a bone. I-80 is as clear can be. Traffic's moving by at around 55 to 60 miles per hour. That is not the case, though, as you go further west on I-80, up near Donner and Truckee, and up near Donner Summit. Traffic is starting to slow down a little bit because the Highway Patrol is asking that motorists implement chain restrictions. Now, we caught up with some motorists earlier today. Some were prepared, but as we found out, most weren't. This winter wonderland was more like a nightmare for motorists headed west on I-80 today. From midnight Sunday, a winter storm warning was in effect for much of the Sierra Nevada. By mid-morning, chain requirements as well as travel advisories were posted for those headed over Donner Pass.
We came to Reno for 4 days for a vacation, and we kind of figured we'd get some snow, but we weren't expecting this much.
I don't like it at all. I should have bought regular chains. I'll never buy another set of cables.
This is spontaneous and unrehearsed.
Did you buy the chains in Reno?
No, I bought them in Hayward, so that I at least planned that it might happen. You know,
how much did you have to pay for them?
$29.95, but had to shop around.
Was this something you planned on?
Yeah, we come up here looking for the snow because Adrian's from New York, and we wanted to bring it up here and let her see snow, and we found it pretty well. It's snowing pretty good.
And some motorists say that the worst part about putting on the chains is the fact that they have so little room to work and that the traffic comes by so fast.
People on the side of the road who are trying to put their tires on, they're going along too fast, and it can get dangerous when it's icy and stuff. I just feel that they should slow it down a little bit.
Caltrans, along with the California Highway Patrol, help slow speeders down, and they help keep roads passable for most of the day. So, Bill, let me recap just a little bit here. Things down here on I-80 up near Keystone. Dry as a bone, traffic moving by at around 55 to 60 miles per hour. Things are fine down here. But as you head west over towards Truckee and Donner Summit, you're going to encounter some chain restrictions, so be sure and call the road conditions number. We'll have that for you a little later on in the newscast. Bill, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, Lori, these are indeed tense moments for anybody who has family living over in Russia, whether it be at the embassy or in a small town outside the besieged city. And Lori, as you might imagine, all eyes are glued to the TV sets.
Politics of Russia or
Alex Gorbenko is deeply worried about his family in Russia. He's been watching the violence in Moscow unfold on TV news reports.
They're like the only family I have. I have a cousin here in the States, and other than that, everybody's out there, so it means a lot to me.
Gorbenko says it appears that Yeltsin is confused about how to implement democracy. The violence and bloodshed isn't the only problem in Moscow. The ruble, which is Russian currency, is worthless, and food is not abundant. This worries Alex more than anything else.
My family over in Russia has a big garden, and that's doing vegetables and growing all their own organic things is about the only way that they can put food on the table all the time.
The situation in Moscow is grim, but it's getting better. Alex says the Gorbenko family is one that has seen much worse.
They will deal with anything. These people are very strong, and I just hope for the best.
Indeed, we should all hope for the best over in Moscow. Lori, Alex also said that it doesn't matter to his family if communist rule comes back into power. They've lived with it all their lives, and if it does come back, they'll simply have to deal with it. Back to you.
News Source 2's Bill McGinty joins us from the newsroom with more on this story. Bill?
Yeah, Brent, Officer Derek Cecil, his fiancée, and some close friends gathered at Shakey's Pizza tonight in Reno. The show was put together very, very well, but it brought back some very scary moments for these people.
Most Saturday nights in Reno, Nevada, cruising...
A local police officer was tonight highlighted on the hit CBS series Rescue 911. Reno police officer Derek Cecil was seriously injured in a motorcycle accident in downtown Reno more than 2 years ago. Rescue 911 was later contacted, and the filming began in December of 1992. Cecil and partner Jay Hawkins played an active role in recreating what happened. A Hollywood stuntman was brought in to play the part of Cecil for the actual recreation of the fall.
And it makes me think about the accident much more in depth than that I have in the past.
Partner Jay Hawkins wasn't only at his side tonight, he was also one of the first to arrive at the scene of the accident.
It's something that you never want to forget, but it's something you never want to see.
For Derek's fiancée, Melissa, watching the recreation on national TV 2 years later was still very hard.
I handle it better than I thought. It's reliving the whole thing all over again.
Never once did she leave my side. Never once did she cast any shadow of a doubt that I would recover. I love you, honey.
Brent, not a dry eye in the place over at Shakey's Pizza tonight. As you can imagine, a very emotional moment. Back to you.
It's remarkable that those people were able to play their own roles in the recreation. Has Officer Cecil fully recovered?
He has. His skull, he suffered a skull fracture in that accident. His skull has completely healed itself, although he is deaf in his right ear. Incidentally, Brent, he's no longer a motorcycle officer for Reno PD.
But he is back on the job.
He is back on the job, healthy.
Thanks, Bill.
Have we seen the worst of this?
Yeah, Jill, I think we have. I think by tomorrow morning, things should be clearing up a little bit. We might see a snow squall or two down in the valley early tomorrow morning, but that should give way to mostly sunny skies tomorrow. It should be a nice day. Temperatures up here on the Mount Rose Highway are absolutely frigid. I'm guessing they're down near zero, and that's what the wind chill factored in. If you have to do any traveling tonight, I would suggest carrying chains and or snow tires. The roads are not completely snow covered, but there is some black ice in some spots, so they're very, very slick. Use caution, take plenty of time to get where you're going. I'm a frigid Bill McGinty reporting live atop the Mount Rose Highway. Jill, back to you.
Thank you, Bill. Obviously looking forward to coming back to the studio.
Very much so.
We drew straws, and Bill McGinty, unfortunately, took the short straw, and he's stuck up on Mount Rose right now. Bill, it's got to be miserable up there, huh?
Mike, I can't even begin to describe how cold it is up here on the Mount Rose Highway. You told me a little bit earlier that Tahoe City had a reported wind gust of up near 98 miles an hour. I would guesstimate the wind to be blowing right now in the vicinity of 75 to 80 miles an hour. With the temperature down near zero, the wind chill factor has got to be way below zero. What you see blowing around up here is just that. It's just snow blowing around. It really isn't falling from the sky. Brent, at this point, they still do not know, although several people who came out of the building just after the blast said that there was a strong smell of propane minutes before the explosion happened. There was an incredible experience. Good news about 45 minutes to an hour ago. As you reported, a 4-year-old girl was found alive, trapped inside one of the restaurants. She was sitting in her chair beneath 4 feet of rubble. That rubble being timber, dirt, and all kinds of other stuff that fell from the ceiling.
Brent, it was an incredible experience. The whole town erupted with cheers of joy that this little girl was found alive. I asked one of the firefighters, where was she? Where did you find her? And he said that she was still sitting upright in her chair, buried beneath 4 feet of rubble. That rubble, bricks, dirt, wood, the entire building just caved in on itself. Now, we're talking about a 3-story structure. There were 2 restaurants on the bottom. The Chamber of Commerce was on the 2nd floor, along with some law offices, and a new company had moved in on the 3rd floor. Now, I'm told this building was built back in the early 1900s, and for some reason, there was timber and dirt and rock used as insulation between each floor. So when this explosion went off, all of that rubble and dirt and timber just caved in on the restaurants below. 1 man has been confirmed dead, a 36-year-old man. One person is still missing. But the good news, Brent, here in Truckee, they found that 4-year-old girl alive. She was whisked away to the hospital. No word yet on her condition. I'm Bill McGinty reporting live in downtown Truckee. Brent, back to you.
Okay. And onto the streets of South Virginia. Now, Reno police officers say they really haven't had a whole lot of problems down here in Reno tonight. The biggest problem, they say, is public intoxication. They've been asking people with open containers to pour them out. So not a whole lot of problems for Reno PD tonight. Again, it's just a wild, nutty, and very festive time. I'm not sure if you can hear what's going on down there. People are yelling and hooting and hollering. Actually, I wish I was down there. It sounds like a better time down there. Brent and Lori, back to you.
For a lot of people, autumn is their favorite time of the year, with the change of colors and the crisp weather. To capture the mood of the season, we sent photographer Carl Lemon out to go around and check out some of the sights. Plus, he got some insight from first graders in Joni Carlson's class at Glenn Duncan Elementary School in Reno.
Fall, and the leaves go fall down. Ah, the leaves fall down. That's a leaf fall down. Orange, red, yellow, and brown. Well, leaves fall down, and winter comes soon. Leaves fall down. Different colored leaves. Orange, yellow, red, and brown. Orange, red, yellow, brown. Red, and orange, and green, and brown. Orange, and green, and brown. Pink. Fall. The leaves fall. The leaves fall down. Red, yellow, and orange. Leaves fall. They fall down.
I think we've established that the leaves fall down this time of the year. It's an old saying, you can't go wrong with stories about kids and dogs.
In some of the areas out there. So we sent our own Bill McGinty out there to try to find out what some of the local roads are like. Bill, first of all, where are you right now? I know you've been traveling around checking the roads. What's your position right now?
Well, Mike, right now we're about 3 miles west of the junction of 395 and State Route 431. So we're about 3 miles this side of 395 on the Mount Rose Highway. We've been out here for the last 25 or 30 minutes or so. It's been snowing steadily. And keep in mind, this is snow and moisture we badly need. At times, the wind and the snow made for blinding conditions. The second wave of the storm is moving through the Sierra Nevada. The Mount Rose area is bracing and hoping for another good dose of the white stuff.
Oh, yes, we were here yesterday, like I said, and this is a lot deeper than I expected.
I think there's a lot of snow here, yeah. For the past 2 days, I think it has been snowing here, yeah.
On the Mount Rose summit, the snow is steady and the travel slow. As far as snowstorms go, these two have been relatively small. Total accumulation is under 3 feet on the eastern slopes.
You disappointed in the amount of snowfall we have this year?
Oh, definitely, yes. Yes, we could use another 10 feet easily, just for water shortage, if nothing else.
Road conditions are expected to worsen south of Lake Tahoe. Train requirements are tonight in effect over most mountain passes. Mike, that's good advice. It'd be a good idea if you have to travel the Mount Rose Highway tonight to carry chains and snow tires, as they're probably required right now. You, of course, would know better than me, but I'm out here, and I can tell you that there's probably an inch of snow on the ground. It's coming down steadily, so chains and snow tires, my guess is they're probably required right now. Mike, back to you.
Bill, we're getting a little bit of rain and snow mixed down here in the lowest valley. I know you're up off of it just a little bit. How quickly does it change to snow, or is it coming all the way down to Highway 395?
Well, when we were on 395, this is about 25 or 30 minutes ago, but when we were on 395, we were coming, south on 395 towards the Mount Rose Highway. It was raining, and then we got a mixture of sleet and snow. As we started to come up the Mount Rose Highway, that's when it started to change over to snow. And when it changed to snow, it changed quick. Now we have about, again, maybe an inch and a half of snow on the ground right now.
Okay, Bill, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. You've done just banner duty out there tonight in the elements.
Hazardous duty pay, I think it's called.
Okay, go get warm, and we'll see you back a little bit later.
You might be surprised how education has changed since you left the classroom. You'll still find reading, writing, and arithmetic, but the way those subjects are taught may be far from familiar. We take you inside a Washoe County classroom as we continue to examine if our schools are making the grade.
Do we remember the penguin?
Welcome to first grade at Glen Duncan Elementary in East Reno.
I am a bird you know quite well, all dressed in black and white.
We don't use textbooks. We don't hand out a textbook and say turn to page 42.
Why not? Teacher Joni Carlson has several reasons.
Mainly at Glen Duncan, we have such a large population of English as a second language students here.
In other words, some of these students didn't speak English before they came to school, so reading it is very difficult.
Do, we should all know do. Very good.
The main idea here at Glen Duncan, we use a lot of things that I bring into the room. We choose one theme that we're going to do, and right now, the 4 first grades here, we're all studying ecosystems, the Arctic and Antarctic right now.
The Arctic, that's right.
The concept is called thematic units, and it's used in many classrooms, even where English is the first language.
We try to make it fun for them, and the idea is if we have one basic theme, and through that theme, we teach math and reading and social studies and science, you know, whether it be the different animals that live there, herbivore and carnivore. Our spelling words might have something to do with the Arctic. Not just are you reading the chant, but there are facts in there that you can use later. It says, I waddle, 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 I'm dressed in black and white, I do have wings, but they're not designed for flight. Right there, look at all the information you're getting from a fun chant that I pulled out of a book.
So Miss Carlson's class is learning English and a lot more by studying penguins. They even write sentences about penguins.
Oh, the penguins are nice. Very good. Thanks, Lila.
Don't be surprised to find your children telling you about magnets, dinosaurs, plants, or penguins from days or even weeks spent on a learning theme. Monday, we'll show you how different a classroom can be at the high school level. Bill, do we have an update on the condition of the man who was shot in the mouth?
Yeah, Brent, 16-year-old Don Willis is in serious condition here at Washoe Medical Center. As I'm to understand it, the bullet entered the left side of his face, blew out a couple of his teeth, and then exited the right side of his face. That's when it struck 22-year-old Paul Wood. Now, police are still trying to figure out exactly where Wood fits into this. They don't know if he was actually part of the altercation or if perhaps he was just an innocent bystander. Now, Brent, when officers arrived on the scene, they initially thought this incident was not gang-related. Now the community action team is inside talking to some witnesses here at Washoe Medical Center.
Bill, when we talked earlier, it sounded like they probably had a suspect in mind. Have they made an arrest yet, or do you get the feeling they're any closer?
Yeah, Brent, they're getting a little bit closer. Right now they're inside talking to some witnesses, and they're sorting out the who's who and the what's what of this whole situation. They hope to have an arrest sometime later tonight.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
More local news more often on News Source 2. The news continues on News Source 2 Night Watch at 11 with Brent Boynton, meteorologist Mike Alger, and Mike Delano, sports.
Good evening, I'm Brent Boynton. It seems to be just about an even split, residents who are for and against the Washoe County School District putting a bus depot in South Reno. Our Bill McGinty has been following the debate all day. He joins us tonight from the newsroom with the latest bill. The school board voted. How did it turn out?
Brent, the school board voted unanimously in favor of putting the depot in South Reno. And Brent, as you said, many are for, but some are really against.
Why didn't we know about it until the very last minute? Somebody's trying to pull something over somebody's eyes.
Tony DeAndre and other South Reno residents say they don't want a bus depot in their backyard.
Another thing, I don't like the smell of the diesel because I don't have all my lungs.
The Washoe County School District wants a satellite bus depot just east of 395 on Geiger Grade.
Those who are against the plan say the diesel fumes will pollute the area and that the 40 or 50 added buses will clog up already crowded Geiger Grade.
Well, I don't want it there, and I'll fight all I can to get rid of it.
Bus drivers usually get up on the road long before I am, and they have their destination points would require them to get up and leave fairly early. I don't see any traffic problems at all.
But most of the South Reno residents we talked to favor the idea, all in the name of lower taxes.
So the cheaper the better for you.
The cheaper the better.
The district is hoping to invest $1.2 million to buy and then renovate the existing property. When completed, it should shelter about 45 to 50 school buses. Now, Brent, this is all contingent upon Washoe County issuing the school district a special use permit, so it looks like the school district has one more hurdle, but that's also one more chance for those who are against.
And what happens if the county does not issue that permit?
If the county says no to the special use permit, then the school district has to look elsewhere.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Right now on the outside, 65 degrees, winds gently blowing out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. Humidity at 27%, and the barometer's rising. The air quality continues to be in the good range. Today's high, 88, low 47. In the last 24 hours, last 48, last 72, we haven't picked up any precipitation. Again, this is the only weather maker that continues to appear on the satellite loop. This thing will probably start to skirt its way up towards the coastline towards the latter part of the week, but again, we probably won't see any precipitation from that, maybe by Saturday, and that's a big, big if. Again, we will be under this dominant ridge of high pressure for most of the week. We will have mostly sunny skies, warmer conditions all throughout the week. It's going to be a fantastic week to get up to the lake and enjoy this last bit of summer. We're going to continue our current trend of cool nights, though. In Winnemucca, 32 tonight. Lovelock at 35. You folks out in Carlin and Elko and BOI, we up there in Jarbidge, right around 26 to 27 degrees. Ely at 26 likewise. Tonopah at 41, and Las Vegas at 63 tonight. Las Vegas at 96 tomorrow. Tonopah at 83. Up north, temperatures ranging anywhere from the mid-80s over to 79. High 70s over in the northeastern part of the state. Down here in the valley tonight, look for anywhere around 40 to 41 degrees. Stead around 38. Fernley over there at 37. Around Lake Tahoe tonight, look for 30 to 33 degrees. Truckee, the cool spot there at 24 degrees. And Yarrington at 43. Warming up tomorrow. Fantastic day on tap for you. Reno Sparks 84. Virginia City 76. Around the Lake Tahoe region in the mid to upper 70s. And 85 for you folks up instead. Here's your forecast then for the Lake Tahoe region. Mostly sunny. Great lake day. Get up to the lake if you can, or even out to Pyramid. 75 for the high, low of 30. Reno, Sparks, Carson City, mostly sunny. It's going to be warmer. High 85 and a low of 40. Here's your 4-day forecast. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mostly sunny skies. That Indian summer is definitely going to be sticking around for quite a bit. And your overnight lows hovering anywhere from the mid to low 40s, dropping down to 39 probably by Thursday. So, great day.
Yeah, you know, I like this warming trend, but, you know, we do need some rain.
Yeah, we could use some rain. I think I heard Mike Alger say last week that it was something like 100 and some days without precipitation, so that's a little too long.
Well, weather-wise, Bill, it was pretty ugly out there today, huh?
Yeah, Jill, that's right. I guess we could say it was one hail of a storm out there. Right now on the outside, though, we have 53 degrees. Skies are still pretty cloudy, and winds are blowing out of the west at 7 miles an hour. A lot of hail falling all over northern Nevada today. Relative humidity, 38%. The barometer's rising, and the air quality, 38, that's down from yesterday. Today's high only got to 63. We were just 1 degree shy of 70 yesterday, the low 49. In the last 24 hours down here at the airport, we've picked up just a trace of precipitation, although it looked and seemed like we got a lot more, especially over in Sparks earlier this morning. I'll tell you, it was raining and hailing beyond belief. Right around 120 to 130, it was really, really bad over there. This is the system that moved through the area today. It's a real unstable system. We were watching it develop out here in the Pacific yesterday. As it came together in such a way that it made the air very, very unstable. Therefore, we got a mixture of weather. We had thunderstorms down in Carson City, thunderstorms in the Sierra, snow in the upper elevations, and rain and hail here in Reno and in the North Valley. So again, this is probably going to curtail over the next 12 hours as this system starts to move on out of here. 35 in Lovelock, 37 in Fallon, 37 in Hawthorne, 35 in Tonopah. You folks out there in Elko and Carlin, right around 32, 33 degrees tonight. Battle Mountain at 35, Eureka at 36, and Ely at 31. Las Vegas tonight dropping to only 54. Tomorrow should be a fantastic day down south in Las Vegas. 74, 59 in Tonopah, 63 in Hawthorne. You folks up in Susanville, just 1 degree shy of 60. Most of the rest of the northern half of the state should see temperatures in the mid to low 50s. Elko at 51. Down here in the valley tonight, look for 37 in Reno Sparks, 36 in Virginia City, 38 in Fernley, and 35 instead. Around Lake Tahoe tonight, 29 at Incline, 28 South Lake, and 17 Truckee. Leeville, right around 30 degrees as well. Tomorrow, warming up in Minden, Gardnerville, 59, Yarrington, 61, 51 at Incline, 51 at South Lake, and 60 in Reno and Sparks. Your forecast then for Tahoe, snow level once again in early April, 6,000 feet. Scattered thunderstorms through midnight tonight, partly cloudy and breezy conditions. Slight chance of showers on Monday. Don't rule them out. There's a very, very good possibility. High 51 and low of 28. Down here in the valley, scattered thunderstorms throughout the night tonight, probably after midnight as well. Partly cloudy skies and breezy conditions tomorrow. Slight chance of showers tomorrow as well. Definitely don't rule them out. You might want to consider taking an umbrella. High 60 and a low of 37. Here's a look at your 4-day forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, mostly sunny skies all throughout the week. We're going to have some unstable weather in the area, though. Tuesday, Wednesday, and on in through Thursday, we'll develop some variable high clouds.
It appears to be sweeping the country. In some parts, it has proved to be fatal. What's the situation with chickenpox cases here at home? Some tense moments as fire breaks out at a 4th Street business. The former owner of the Ormsby House in Carson City is under fire. And it's a story of a Reno woman, the police department, and the woman's scooter.
The news continues on News Source 2 at 6:30 with Brent Boynton, meteorologist Mike Alger, and Mike Galanos, sports.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Boynton. Chickenpox tops the news tonight. In Southern California this week, 4 children died of the disease. Doctors here in Northern Nevada say there is no epidemic in this area, but it is going around. News Source 2 reporter Bill McGinty begins our coverage tonight.
But when he gets them, I can laugh at him.
I'd like you to meet 4-year-old Danny. She spent the day watching Alice in Wonderland. She's homesick with the chicken pox. So at night you put socks over your hands so you don't scratch. Does it feel better at night?
A little bit.
Up to 14 kids in Danny's preschool class are also homesick with chicken pox. If your child comes home complaining of constant itching and starts running a small fever, chances are he or she has developed a case of the chicken pox.
Very contagious. If you're exposed, you're invariably going to get it.
If you haven't had it before?
Correct. And you'll never get it twice. It's basically wives' tale that you can get it twice. But if you haven't had it and you've been exposed on a good, honest exposure, and bet your money that you're going to get it.
Tomorrow we're going to take a bath.
The best treatment for the itching, besides a good bath, is calamine lotion. The only real treatment is just to let the disease run its course. Most people remain contagious for about 1 to 2 weeks after being diagnosed.
Chickenpox has the fluid-filled centers on the sores, and they're contagious until all the fluid-filled centers have broken and scabbed. Not until the skin's clear, but until they've all scabbed, which is usually 7 to 10 days.
If you're an adult and have never had chickenpox, chances are if you're exposed, you will get the disease. In some rare cases, as an adult, you may not even know you have it, but you'll still be very contagious to coworkers. If you think your child has contracted chickenpox, call your doctor immediately, and don't let them scratch. In Reno, Bill McGinty, News Source 2.
It itches to see that. The best advice is just to keep your child comfortable. And we here at Channel 2 wish Danny a speedy recovery.
Sir, I know. You don't.
Oh, I know.
Okay, the contract was reviewed.
Ask anybody in Douglas County, and they'll tell you why their garbage is worth making a big stink about.
They're telling me that I have to have my trash picked up. And I thought I lived in America. I thought Douglas County was in America, not Nazi Germany, 1933.
Douglas County residents say it's unfair to charge them more than $13 for 2 cans of mandatory garbage pickup, when some of them say they don't even use that much.
Well, I don't like what's going on. I don't like getting told what to do, and I've got several questions to ask.
And some of those questions are more like concerns. Concerns that the county's elderly and those on fixed incomes won't be able to afford the hike. Most residents are right now dumping their own garbage in the landfill for less than $3, and they say a $10 hike is way out of line.
I would like to see a recall. I would like for anybody in the county to get a hold of me or anybody else. Recall those commissioners. Okay? Because this is not fair. They're getting paid or something. Something's going on.
The mandatory garbage pickup in Douglas County will go into effect on July 1st. But county commissioners say they're always open to other ideas.
Hopefully calmer thoughts will prevail and we'll have a rational dialogue. That's what's needed.
The only ones not refusing to cooperate are members of Douglas Disposal. It's reported that they'll pick up an extra 3,000 customers when this law goes into effect. And that has members of Douglas County crying out for an investigation. In Douglas County, I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2. The shooting began when the suspect, 40-year-old Jerry Marlich, showed up at this residence looking for his estranged wife and kids. So he came here looking for trouble.
Definitely.
All indications are that his wife and children were using this residence as a safe house. And the deceased was protecting the wife and children. And the suspect came over to physically remove his wife and children, and then a fight broke out.
Police believe the suspect may have fired the first shot. As many as 7 shots may have been fired altogether between the two. Jerry Marlich was wounded in the back of his shoulder. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Having been wounded, the suspect drove this gray station wagon up this driveway looking for some help. Only the help he finally got was from a Lyon County Sheriff's deputy.
I called for backup before he got out of the car.
Did you come out with your gun?
I had my gun on me. I didn't come out with it drawn or anything. I had my handheld, my radio, getting all the dispatch.
The 14-year-old son of the victim arrived on the scene about a half an hour after the shooting. He was extremely overwrought with grief. Tonight, that boy is a ward of the state. He has no other family to care for him. His mother is reportedly in jail, and he has no siblings. As one deputy put it, he is the real victim here today. In Silver Springs, I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
I think mothers that are pregnant and that are using drugs need to go get help. How do you know if your baby's going to be okay?
This is Laura. She's a heroin addict, and she's pregnant again. Her story gets better. She graduated from an addiction program at NASAC today. She's been clean now for 90 days. Her 2 other children are healthy, but their risk of being born addicts was extremely great.
Scared that my baby would be addicted? Something might be wrong with it. It might be deformed. What would I do?
You can get into NASAC's program a number of different ways. The DA's office was, until yesterday, able to say, get help, or we'll prosecute you. But not anymore. Nevada has no fetal abuse statute. Therefore, prosecuting a so-called drug mom for child abuse is now illegal.
Because right now we do not have the ability to use our child endangerment statutes to protect our babies.
I ended up pregnant. He asked me to have an abortion, and I took the chances of having the baby.
The Washoe County DA's office says getting drug moms into rehab by threat of prosecution was a tremendous success. Now they say it's back to the drawing boards until they hear from the Supreme Court. The fight against drug moms has even suffered a further setback. Choices Unlimited, a program which offers free assistance to addicts, will close its doors in 12 days, all because of a lack of funding. In Reno, I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
Well, we'll miss them. You know, we're a close-knit family.
These pilots are reflecting on what they do and how it cost their friend his life. Pilot Rick Brickert was killed when his plane called the Pond Racer crashed a few miles south of the Stead Airport. Pilot Alan Preston was in the air at the time of the accident.
I didn't see him actually go in, but my assessment is that something went dramatically wrong for Rick. From the time that he declared an emergency until the time that he impacted the ground, something changed.
Brickert called a mayday just before going down. He was halfway around the qualifying course, nearing a speed of about 330 miles an hour. That's when smoke appeared from his right engine. The plane, which runs on alcohol, landed belly up before bursting into flames. The fire department and the hazmat team had to be called in because the plane is made of some sort of a carbon fiber, and when it burns, it becomes extremely toxic. Therefore, hazmat members had to fully suit up before they could remove the body from the wreckage. The plane, listed as experimental, first raced at Stead in 1991, but even then had some mechanical problems. Competing pilots say the crew and the plane was top-notch.
And our crews are highly qualified people. You don't have one-timers out here whatsoever. And the pond racing program was one of the best on the ramp.
He was very good at what he did, and he would have handled it if it hadn't changed dramatically.
The FAA and the NTSB will be on the scene again tomorrow, trying to piece together what went wrong. Instead, I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2. You told me a little bit earlier that Tahoe City had a reported wind gust of up near 98 miles an hour. I would guesstimate the wind to be blowing right now in the vicinity of 75 to 80 miles an hour. With the temperature down near zero, the wind chill factor has got to be way below zero. The driver, Knox, apparently lost control of his truck, rolled it down inside this ditch, then grabbed the little girl and several guns and made off into this field. And that's when the standoff began. Brent, at this point, they still do not know, although several people who came out of the building just after the blast said that there was a strong smell of propane minutes before the explosion happened. There was an incredible experience. Good news about 45 minutes to an hour ago. As you reported, a 4-year-old girl was found alive, trapped inside one of the restaurants. She was sitting in her chair beneath 4 feet of rubble. That rubble being timber, dirt, and all kinds of other stuff that fell from the ceiling and onto the streets of South Virginia. Now, Reno police officers say they really haven't had a whole lot of problems down here in Reno tonight. The biggest problem, they say, is public intoxication. They've been asking people with open containers to pour them out. Yeah, Lori, these are indeed tense moments for anybody who has family living over in Russia, whether it be at the embassy or in a small town outside the besieged city. And Lori, as you might imagine, all eyes are glued to the TV sets. The suspect was hiding right in the rafters above us, and we didn't know it. The building was thought to be secure. And myself and a photographer were waiting to do an interview with the owner of the building, who saw the suspect run by about a half an hour earlier. Now, one of the police officers whispered to a friend of his, "Hey, come here, I think we got him." And that's when TJ and I went charging in with the cameras, and this is what unfolded.
Unit 4647 in for pursuit of a grand larceny suspect southbound from Parkway Mall heading towards Grove Street. White male wearing a white sweatshirt.
The call comes in shortly after 8 o'clock tonight, and Reno police officer Terry Naughton wasted no time responding.
Okay, here he goes. He's in a blue vehicle. Nevada 880, David San North. He's going westbound.
Westbound on what? On what street?
The suspect we're in pursuit of reportedly hijacked a car and the driver. The chase lasted about 3 minutes until this happened.
On your head, driver! Put your hands on your head! Step out! Turn and face away from me! Sniper! Snicker! Back up! Back up!
The driver's gonna take off! Take off, I got it! Stop! Stop! The man with his hands up on his head is actually the victim, and the suspect is now driving. The chase continues for about another mile or two before coming to an end behind the fire department on West Moana Lane. The suspect ended up jumping from the car in this empty lot, but he was found a short time later.
Comfortable? No one should be pleased with the service here. The problem is he doesn't play by the same rules we do. It's not easy, but you don't really dwell on it. You just do it. It happens too quickly, as you just saw. You don't really have time to think. You just respond to your training and go for what you know.
The suspect, 21-year-old Christopher Futch, was arrested and is tonight facing charges of carjacking, kidnapping, and grand larceny. In Reno, Bill McGinty reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
On that day, the NTSB told us it would probably take 6 months to a year before they could ever determine the exact cause of what happened that day.
Indeed, we should all hope for the best over in Moscow. Lori, Alex also said that it doesn't matter to his family if communist rule comes back into power. They've lived with it all their lives, and if it does come back, they'll simply have to deal with it. Back to you. I'm not sure if you can hear what's going on down there. People are yelling and hooting and hollering. Actually, I wish I was down there. It sounds like a better time down there. Brent and Lori, back to you. 26-year-old Otis Witherall spent 3 very cold nights lost in this remote section of the Sierra Nevada. He became separated from his hunting party on Saturday.
Feel just fine. Just tired and cold. Basically, that's it.
90 men and women from 4 counties combed more than 180 miles of forest by land and by air. Witherall came walking out on his own this afternoon at around 4 o'clock.
Could he have survived another night out there?
It was very slim. Today was the first day he said he was ever able to dry out. Shoes were soaking wet. Lost his rifle somewhere, lost his glasses.
Weather-wise, Witherall got very lucky. Although it was cold, the snow at 8,000 feet managed to hold off.
So another night could have killed him.
Very much so.
It's a good thing Witherall ran into sheriff's deputies earlier today. This area of Alpine County is extremely remote. Mix that with the predicted weather forecast for tonight, and it could have meant a certain death. In Alpine County, California, I'm Bill McGinty reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
I think by tomorrow morning, things should be clearing up a little bit. We might see a snow squall or two down in the valley early tomorrow morning, but that should give way to mostly sunny skies tomorrow. It should be a nice day. Temperatures up here on the Mount Rose Highway are absolutely frigid. I'm guessing they're down near 0, and that's with the wind chill
factored in. Today's high 89, the low 47 in the last 24 hours. We really haven't picked up any precipitation. This is the weather maker we've been keeping our eye on. Yesterday, it was way out in the Pacific. Now it picked up a lot of speed, little intensity, and now it's starting to move on to the coast. Again, this is the system that may provide us with some rain over the next 24 to 48 hours. The local public bus system here in the Reno area has been operating without a contract between drivers and management since early June. The extension may end today because the new contract may be ratified in the next couple of hours. News Source 2's Tim Robinson has our report. Now, the second shift of drivers should be voting on that new contract within the next hour. When we know the outcome of that vote, we will certainly pass it along to you. Elsewhere in the world tonight, the UN is one step closer to military force in Iraq. This comes after the Iraqi government is refusing to allow UN inspectors to seal off missile sites. Right now on the outside, 65 degrees, winds gently blowing out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. Humidity at 27%, and the barometer's rising. The air quality continues to be in the good range. Today's high 88, low 47 in the last 24 hours, last 48, last 72. We haven't picked up any precipitation. Again, this is the only weather maker that continues to appear on the satellite loop. This thing will probably start to skirt its way up towards the coastline towards the latter part of the week, but again, we probably won't see any precipitation from that, maybe by Saturday, and that's a big, big if. Yeah, we have a top 10 list, although that's going to come up a little bit later on in the broadcast. We're up here at the University of Nevada, Reno. I don't know if you heard me before at the Pi Phi House. The average age here is about 19 or 20, so this is really tough duty for a young guy to pull. If you want to go the horror route, then this indeed may be your option, but believe it or not, there are uglier and scarier things out there. Not that bad. I'm Bill McGinty, reporting for your 24-hour News Source 2.
If it wasn't for a cure flight, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today.
Ray J.O. was near death 5 months ago. As he was working on the Mount Rose Highway, an asphalt truck backed into him. His arm was broken in half. Even worse, he was dragged 40 feet by that same truck. His wristwatch caused this massive scar.
I told the guys, where's my arm? You know, because the arm was broke over here, and I raised my arm like if I was going to raise it, and I couldn't find my arm. And they told me not to worry about it, you know. The arm was there.
A coworker with a cell phone calls 911. Care Flight is dispatched and arrives on the Mount Rose Highway in 9 minutes.
I got the call at work that he was coming in on Care Flight, which is probably everyone's worst nightmare to get a call like that. But
the flight to Washoe Medical Center is a tough one for the crew and for Ray.
When they put me on the chopper, I started losing my vision, and I remember one of the girls saying, my God, he says, he's fading away fast.
Ray is finally stabilized by a life-saving blood transfusion at Washoe Medical Center. And just 5 months later, he's progressing well in this rehabilitation program at Silver State Therapy.
They are lifesavers. I can tell them, the one thing I have to do, I have to thank them because they saved my life, and I know the way they work, they saved not only mine, I know they saved a lot of other people.
they're wonderful. I used to kind of tease when they'd walk by some of the personnel, and I'd say how well their shirts fit in spite of having wings tucked underneath in the back, because I always felt they were like little angels, really. They're great. They're just the best. So there's no way to say thanks enough to them.
To me, every day it's a Thanksgiving for me.
On this Thanksgiving Day, Bill McGinty, News Source 2.
The news continues on News Source 2 at 6:30 with Brent Boynton, meteorologist Mike Alger, and Mike Galanos, sports.
Good evening, I'm Brent Boynton. The United States is trying to sort out what went wrong in a friendly fire incident in Iraq. U.S. fighters shot down 2 American Army helicopters in the no-fly zone. News Source 2's Bill McGinty is live out at the Nevada Air National Guard, a very noisy place. Bill, are you able to hear me okay?
Well, Brent, here at the home of the High Rollers in Reno, everybody is shocked and saddened by what happened today. Now, we're told that 2 U.S. F-15 fighters mistakenly shot down 2 U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopters. They apparently thought they were Soviet-made Hind helicopters, which the Iraqi forces use. Now, there are a lot of conflicting reports about this tragic incident. We can tell you the accident happened at 9:30 this morning, so the pilots had daylight and reportedly had a visual sighting. Now, a lot of what happened has not been declassified yet, leaving the American public and the reserves with a lot of unanswered questions. Here at the home of the High Rollers, everybody is shocked and puzzled by what happened. There are many theories about what went wrong, whether it was a breakdown in communication or just a terrible case of mistaken identity.
They are not necessarily in touch with the F-15s or the interceptors in this particular case. In fact, they probably were not in contact with them. They were probably in contact with maybe somebody on the ground more than likely than they were with anybody in the air.
The situation in and over Iraq has long been tense. U.S. soldiers and peacekeeping forces from other nations have spent the last 3 years patrolling the no-fly zone.
The F-15 is a very capable interceptor. It's our top-of-the-line interceptor, in fact, and it has the capability of its radar system to identify a friend or foe through the IFS system in that particular airplane or aircraft. In this case here, I'm sure helicopters have that particular capability. Again, they're identified by what codes that particular helicopter or aircraft may have in it.
Brent, friendly fire certainly isn't something new. Now, defense experts say that 1 in every 50 soldiers who died in Vietnam, Korea, and World War II were killed by their own side. And tragically, that rate rose to 17% of the 615 soldiers who died in the 1991 Gulf War. At the home of the High Rollers, I'm Bill McGinty reporting live. Brent, back to you.
Thank you, Bill.